Hello learners, I am Harish Kumar Tyagi. Today we are going to learn the National Policy on Education 1986 and its revised policies 1992. You see, after learning this policy, we can see the present system of education, how it is based on this policy. If we go in the background of this policy, so the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi had promised that we will bring a new policy on education in India, and later on it was brought on August 20th in 1985, and it accepted the challenges of education under this policy. So, this is known as the Policy of Education 1986. This policy is characterized by emphasis on educational integration and 10 core elements of curriculum. The common core include the history of India's freedom movement, the constitutional obligations and other content essential to nurture national identity. These elements cut across subject areas and are designed to promote values such as India's common cultural heritage, egalitarianism, democracy and secularism, equality of sexes, protection of environment, removal of social barriers and observance of small family norms, and inculcation of scientific temper. There was at that time urgent need to solve the problems of access, quality, utility and financial outlay accumulated over the years, which were massive in proportion. The general formulation is incorporated in 1968 policy, as it did not get translated into detailed study of implementation. You see, many challenges when this policy was formed, India had. Therefore, after discussions countrywide, educational reforms had to come through this policy. So, this policy was approved by the Parliament in May 1986. If we just see in detail this policy, so we can say in the form of background that in a democratic country there is a need of democratization of education in other. In order to achieve education for all, so many initiatives and attempts have been made by the government of India. Through this policy formulation, the government lays down directive for the future courses of action towards realizing some perceived goals. In a democratic society, the goals lies in the various aspects of the welfare of the people. The modern trend of development can be fruitfully traced to the British colonial government. This is reflected in the National Policy of Education 1986 and its modified policies 1992. Later on, Program of Action 1992 was also formed, so that the whatever in the policy has been mentioned could be achieved through Program of Action. And this policy's objective was to promote quality, as it was necessary to provide for equal opportunity for all, not only in access but also in conditions of success. The purpose was to remove prejudices and complexes transmitted through the social environment and the accident of birth. This policy covers 12 chapters and has nearly 52 pages. The first chapter is introduction, second chapter is essence and role of education, third chapter is national system of education, and fourth chapter is education of equality, and fifth chapter is reorganization of education at different stages. Chapter 6 states technical and management education. Chapter 7 says making the system work, whereas chapter 8 says reorienting the content and process of education. Chapter 9 the teacher, chapter 10 the management of education, chapter 11 resources and review, and chapter 12 is the future. You see, it took nearly 50 years to evolve. At that time, India was progressing after taking the freedom from the Britishers. So, we have to frame such type of policy so that could be beneficial to all human beings and to all sections of the society. Therefore, it is a comprehensive document which is going to fulfill the needs of each and every individual. It contains detailed instructions about its implementation. For achieving the target as proposed or suggested in this policy, POA, that is known as Program of Action, was also prepared, so that its successful implementation could be carried out. And first time from the independence in the history of education or in India, particular one chapter, it is particularly for the teachers, has been devoted to teachers only. And moreover, the management of education has also been given importance. So, in this way we can say this policy has a very comprehensive policy which has touched each and every aspects which is going to be achieved for the future of India, and certainly with this policy the India will progress, India will develop, and in all the areas education will spread. In second chapter, the essence and role of education has been discussed. It clearly says, in our national perception, education is essentially for all. This is fundamental to all round development, material and spiritual. You see, education has an acculturating role in refines sensitivities and perception that contributes to national cohesion, a scientific temper and independence of mind and spirit, thus furthering the goal of socialism, secularism and democracy enriched in our constitution. So, whatever the guarantee in our constitution has been given, the same has been tried to achieve through this policy. Education develops manpower for different levels of the country. It is also the substrate on which research and development flourish, being the ultimate guarantee of national self-reliance. In sum, education is a unique investment in the present and for the future. This cardinal principle is the key to the national policy on education. So, in this way we can say, under this essence and role of education, that the concept of a national system of education implies that up to a given level all students, irrespective of caste, creed, location and sex, have access to education. So, no one is going to be left out, everyone has to be included. That is why today we are going to focus on inclusive education, and we are also giving through this policy importance to the quality of education. So, to achieve this, the government will initiate appropriately funded programs. So, in this way inter-regional mobility in higher education is also going to be given, and strengthening to AICTE, Education Medical Council, NUPA, NCT, ICAR, UGC, etc. is going to be, and common core national curriculum is to be framed. Constitutional obligation, cultural heritage is to be maintained. Egalitarianism, democracy, secularism, etc. is to be promoted, and promotion of link languages. Many languages are there in India, so every language should be given due weightage. No one should be left out. And also lifelong education for youth, housewives and industrial workers is to be given. A meaningful partnership between center and various states on financial administrative issues is very much required. In chapter 4, education for equality has been mentioned. You see, education will be used as an agent. It has been clearly mentioned that this education will be used as an agent of basic change in the status of women. So, women are to be strengthened. How? Through education and vocation only. So, in order to neutralize the accumulated distortions of the past, there will be a well conceived edge in favor of women. Removal of women's illiteracy and obstacles inhibiting their access to and retention in elementary education will perceive overriding priority through provisions of special support services, setting of time targets and effective monitoring. Major emphasis again through this policy will be laid on women's participation in vocational, technical and professional education at different levels. The policy of discrimination will be pursued vigorously to eliminate sex stereotyping in vocational and professional courses. So, through this policy, the emphasis has been given that there should be no partiality at all in vocation, either it is a police or something else, and to promote women participation in non-traditional occupation. In this policy, it has been clearly mentioned that central focus in the SC's educational development in their equalization with the non-SC's population, means scheduled caste population at all stages and levels of education, in all areas and in all the 4 dimensions: rural male, rural female, urban male, urban female. So, these measures includes how disparities is going to be removed. So, number 1, like recruiting the teachers from scheduled caste. If we recruit the teachers from the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, etc., definitely there will be no disparities, and provisions of facilities for the SC students and also opening the hostels in district headquarters. And so, this is what the priorities area of the policy, and location of the school building like Balwadis and adult education center in such a way so as to facilitate full participation of scheduled caste. Next, we can say that the utilization of Jawahar Rozgar Yojana resources as to make substantial educational facilities. It has been observed that if the parents are employed, certainly their children will continue their education. So, that is why first time in this policy Jawahar Rozgar Yojana was introduced, and constant involvement in funding new methods to increase the participation of the scheduled caste in the educational process. It has also focused on the scheduled tribe education. You see, educated and promising scheduled tribe youth will be encouraged and trained to take up teaching in tribal areas. For them, residential schools including ashram schools will be established on a large scale. Incentives schemes like scholarship, etc., will be formulated to the scheduled tribes, keeping in view their special needs and lifestyle. Whatever their needs require, so these things will be considered and they will be provided. Anganwadi, non-formal and adult education centers will be opened on a priority basis in area predominantly inhabited by the scheduled tribes. The curriculum at all stages of education will be designed. Can be said that curriculum is to be in such a way so that it is going to fulfill the needs of these scheduled tribes, and it will create the awareness of their rich cultural identity and of their heritage, and also their enormous creative talent. Other aspects includes in this policy like education of minorities. Those who are coming under this minority groups, they have to be given extra attention by opening educational centers, by providing incentives, etc., and also giving opportunity to the differently abled children by enrolling them with other normal children. It will be continued to provide adult education also. Chapter 5 includes the reorganization of education system at different stages. So, this system will start from early childhood care education to the university level. The national policy on children especially emphasizes the investment in the development of young child, particularly children from sections of the population, those who are coming from the different parts of the society, in which first generation learners are predominant. A full integration of child care and pre-primary education will be brought about, both as a feeder and a strengthening factor for primary education and also for human resource development in general. In continuation of this stage, the school health program will be strengthened, and elementary education, which is coming from class 1 to class 8, is going to be strengthened. Second thing, child centered approach is going to be adopted. School facilities are going to be provided, means within the radius of 1 kilometer there should be one school, no matter it is in rural area or in urban area. So, by opening the school within the radius of 1 kilometer, the enrollment will increase, every child will have to be enrolled, and his retention up to 14 years will be ensured, and the quality of education will be improved. Those who are even left out, for them non-formal education system will be continued. The new education policy will give the highest priority to solving the problems of children dropping out of school, and will adopt an array of meticulously formulated strategies based on micro planning and applied at the grassroots level all over the country to ensure children's retention at school. If we see the secondary education, so we can say that secondary education begins to expose students to the differentiated roles of science, the humanities and social sciences. This is also an appropriate stage to provide children with a sense of history and national perspective, and give them opportunities to understand their constitutional duties and rights as citizens. It also says that access to secondary education will be widened with emphasis on enrollment of girls. Again here these policies suggest that enrollment of girls is to be ensured, enrollment of SC's students, enrollment of ST's students, particularly in the science, commerce and vocational stream. It means these groups students are going to take and going to be encouraged so that they can take in different professional courses their admissions. Board of Secondary Education will be reorganized and vested with the autonomy so that their ability to improve the quality of secondary education is enhanced. It's universally accepted that children with special talent or attitude should be provided. So, here we have to focus on the aptitude of the children. If they have the scientific aptitude, they should be enrolled in the scientific courses, and every opportunity should be given to them so that they can also give the good quality of education available to them, irrespective of their capacity, to pay for it. So, in this way, under the secondary education chapter, Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalayas were also to be opened in every district. Vocationalization of education was to be ensured and higher education was to be strengthened and spreaded in all over the country, and open universities and distance education were going to be again continued to open. And also major things has been mentioned here, de-linkage degree from the job, means those who are skilled and they are coming to learn these skills from their parents. So, in certain jobs, if degree is not required or degree is required as well as the skill is required, so and these persons have already skill, so they can be given the degrees so that they can complete their formalities, and on the basis of the skills they can take the admissions or they can just join the job. So, de-linking of the degree from the job was ensured, for particularly for the traditional or those the programs or those the skills which are inherited from their parents, etc. And again the emphasis was given on the rural universities by opening the universities in the rural area, because it has been observed that in many cases students cannot get access to get enrollment in the university, because the university is in the urban area which is far from their residence. So, that is why most important factor of this policy is to opening the universities in the rural areas. And chapter 6 says that technical and management education. You see, management education means how the education is going to be managed. So, innovations, research and development are to be continued under this management education. Programs for computer literacy like Daksh India, Skill India is the gift of this policy. So, we can say here institutional thrust again for rural areas was given through this policy, and again promoting efficiencies and effectiveness at all levels. So, this policy again emphasized that institutions will be encouraged to generate resources using their capacities to provide services to the community and industry. They will be equipped with up-to-date learning resources, library and computer facilities. High priority on modernization. This policy specifically says that we will bring the modernization, we will go hand in hand with the other developed countries. So, modernization is to be ensured. Effective procedure for the recruitment of the staff means a fair and effective procedure is to be followed, so that a quality staff could be recruited in the various jobs. And also it has emphasized the improvement in the career opportunities, many new opportunities to be opened, so that every youth who is particularly the unemployed can get a job, and also management functions and change. Now, the trend is going to be changed, many other new things are going to be introduced. So, here the management function is not traditional, it should be completely modernized. AICT as a statutory authority is to be established, and involvement of private sector is to be ensured. So, this policy has opened the doors for the private sectors, so that they can open the universities, they can open the schools, and they can open or they can provide the quality education to its youth. Now, chapter 7 says the making the system work. In this policy, it has been clearly mentioned that all teachers should teach and all students should study. It means every teacher has to teach and every child has to enroll. No teacher, no child is going to be left out. Better deal to teachers with greater accountability. Means now it is the teacher's accountability that how he is going to handle the enrollment, how he is going to improve the result of his subjects, and also provisions of improved student services and insistence on observance of acceptance norms of behavior. Provision of better facilities to the institution. These facilities may include different types of facilities like transportation, other ICTs facilities, and like infrastructural facilities. Creation of a system of performance appraisals of institutions according to the standards and norms set at a national or state levels quality. So, in these norms the quality is to be maintained. Chapter 8 says the reorienting the content and process of education. In this chapter, major concerns are over cultural degradation. You see, India's culture is somewhere going to be degraded. So, we have to control this culture. So, everything has been mentioned under this policy, how this cultural heritage is going to be maintained. And also in this chapter, major emphasis has been given on value education, how these values are to be inculcated, values are taught or values are caught. So, this system is going to be continued under NP, and you see establishing the linkages with the past. In this way the value education is going to be imparted, and also the protection of regional languages. Every language has its own role in the development of the cultural. So, in this way every language will be given due weightage. Books and library, it has clearly mentioned in NP 1986 that more and more libraries will be opened, more and more production of the book will be continued and it will be of high quality books. Media and educational technology will also be introduced, work experience will be introduced in the schools, so that students can learn while they are in the school, and they can be prepared themselves while they are leaving the school. So, during learning they can even start to develop the skills of earning also. And also the population education. Population is the major cause in India. So, to educate the population, to control the population, and to introduce the sex education, this population education chapter has also been introduced in this NPE. Mathematics teaching, you see, mathematics if is taught, so it is going to give the logical thinking process in child's mind. So, mathematics is a very important subject which has been included in NP, and science education has also been given due emphasis on NP, and also emphasize on physical education, yoga, etc. The role of youth has also been ensured, how these youth are going to perform the task when they become the complete citizen of India. So, it has also been given emphasis in national policy on education. The evaluation process and examination reforms has also been discussed in national policy on education, so that the system of evaluation could be strengthened and the existing system could be reformed, and elimination of the excessive elements of chance of subjectivity in the evaluation could be removed. And also this policy has emphasized on like de-memorization, means if we memorize something, so it should be de-memorized, means we cannot learn or we cannot retain only the memorization, we have to learn by experiments. So, these things has also been mentioned. In national policy on education CC, which has been a very major part in the evaluation system, particularly in the CBSE and other boards of schools. So, CC that incorporate scholastic and non-scholastic aspects. So, in this way the use of evaluation process by the teacher, students and parents can be taken out, and also improvement of the conduct of examination. So, under this policy the entire reforms are to be introduced through this examination reforms, and also the introduction of semester system. you see, annual system takes more time to judge the performance of a student. So, better to introduce the annual system. So, if any weakness is observed in a student, that can be carved out. So, therefore, this semester system has been introduced under this policy, and use of grade in place of raw marks. Raw marks are not going to predict the child's educational behavior. Therefore, the grading system has been going to introduce. And also in chapter 9, the teacher, status of teacher is to be improved by providing them many types of trainings and by giving them freedoms to innovate teaching methods. So, here in this policy it has been clearly mentioned that teacher education should be improved by providing them or by improving their teaching methods or by improving their quality of teaching. And also code of professional ethics to be prepared, means first time in India in this policy it has been mentioned what are the code of ethics of the teachers. So, these documents are going to be prepared and they are being taught how the teacher will behave and what are their ensured ethics. And at district level, diets are going to be open, means every district will have one diet. This has been ensured in national policy on education. Nearly today we have near about 603 districts and we have near about 571 diets. So, it means every district has one diet, and also State Council of Educational Research and Training were to be established under this policy. Now, every state at least has one SCERT, SIE or SET. Chapter 10 says the management of education. It is at national level, it is at state level. So, at national level, how the education is going to be managed, the Central Advisory Board of Education has been established. So, it is looking at the national level, and it has also been ensured in this national policy on education that establishment of Indian education services, means how this Indian education will be managed. So, by opening the Indian education services, like today we have in administration like IAS or so many others, but in education we do not have such type of services. So, first time in NP it has been said that Indian education services will be started, and also head of the institution of any college or university will come from this IES services. At state level, the CAB may direct to the district as well as to the local bodies that how the government institutes can be encouraged. Chapter 11 says the resource and review. So, here by investment at the proportionate level with the nature and dimension of the task will be made, and at the national investment in education to be raised gradually to 6 of national income. So far we have not reached to the 6% of national income, we are just below to it, we are nearly about 4%, but if it reaches to the 6%, certainly there will be a major changes in the entire quality of education. Review also, like implementation of the parameters of new policy must be reviewed every 5 years. So, while this national policy was framed, so that time it was mentioned that every 5 years this policy will be reviewed, and if certain necessities occur, means coming to see, then the changes will be made accordingly. Chapter 12 says the future. As you see the future is very bright. If we have such type of policy which is going to change the entire shape of the education system of India. Certainly, if the education is going to be changed, the entire shape of the country will be changed. So, we can see the future is very bright. So, the future to be strengthened the base of pyramid of education. The priority on spiritual and intellectual attainment means intellectuality will be increased, spirituality will be increased. Nowadays, we are giving more emphasis on yoga, etc. So, spiritualities are going to be increased. Again, we have certain critics on this education, means high on intention, low on implementation. You see, this policy was introduced in 1986 and revised policy in 1992. You just see this much gap we have seen and how much we have achieved. As para 8.21 says that yoga will be started in all schools till not done. So, this is what one critiques, and para 10.3 reads that all India education services would be set up. No such things has happened. So, again this is a setback to us that there is no such type of services in education. Para 10.1 says that the principles of accountability in relation to given objectives will be established. No one is held accountable of many policies failures till date. Again, it has been clearly mentioned in that vocational education will be imparted. More and more IITs, more and more ITIs and polytechnic colleges will be opened, but still we are in hopeful situation that we are able to provide vocational education and we are able to provide on the basis of this national policy to job to all. Now, let us sum up the policies things. Number one, educational policies and progress have been reviewed in the light of goals of national development and priorities set from time to time in its resolution on the NP 1968, and emphasize on quality improvement and a planned more equitable expansion of educational facilities and the need to focus on education of girls was stressed. NP 86 was formulated, which was further updated in 1992. The NP 1986 provided for comprehensive policy framework for the development of education up to the end of the century, and plan of action that is known as POA was prepared in 1992, assigning specific responsibilities for organizing, implementing and financing its proposals. After considering all these policy decisions from time to time and the recommendations of Yashpal Committee, the entire school structure was modified and a new national curriculum framework was developed in 2005 and is being implemented at present in entire country. So, we have discussed the policies aspects of 1986 and its revised policy 1992. So, dear learners, thank you. We will meet in next lecture. Have a good day.